Good evening, everybody. I'm Ann Curry in for Brian tonight. As there are more developments about the revelations that our government is tapping phone records and gaining special access to emails and the internet. Today, the president defended the surveillance programs, saying they are necessary to protect us from terrorism. And he added the internet surveillance program does not target Americans. We begin tonight with our Justice correspondent Pete Williams on what we now know. Pete, good evening.
And good evening to you. From the president on down, federal officials have presented a united front in the past 24 hours. Their message: we're not listening to your phone calls or reading your emails. In California, for a summit with the Chinese leader, President Obama defended the two programs that exploded into public view as necessary trade-offs to defeat terrorists.
You can't have 100% security and also then have 100% privacy and zero inconvenience.
Intelligence officials have now revealed more about how the two systems work. The program aimed at telephone records gathers logs of phone numbers dialed by U.S. phone customers and dumps them into an enormous database maintained by the NSA. But Director of National Intelligence James Clapper says the government is prohibited from indiscriminately sifting through it. In other words, officials say no data mining.
Nobody is listening to your telephone calls.
The data is checked, he says, only when there's a specific phone number or pattern of calls associated with foreign terrorists.
The only way to do that is if you have all the records in one place at that time. If you're looking for a needle in a haystack, you need a haystack.
The latest highly secret program to be revealed allows the NSA to plug into servers run by some of the world's biggest internet companies to monitor suspected terror communications. Intelligence Director Clapper says it's intended to gather information about non-U.S. persons outside the United States. It cannot be used, he says, to target anyone located inside the U.S. And unlike the telephone program, which vacuums up data on virtually every call made in the U.S., officials say the internet program taps into servers only to look at specific sites suspected of having a terrorism connection. But as shown in this PowerPoint slide obtained by the Washington Post, that can take many forms, including email, chat, videos, and photos. While President Obama and members of both parties say Congress was fully briefed on the programs, many are far from convinced that the government has the legal authority to gather up and store records of virtually every U.S. phone call.
I'd like to know how the president feels that my cell phone calls and your cell phone calls are relevant to an investigation. What investigation? What act or what threat?
I welcome this debate, and I think it's healthy for our democracy. I think it's a sign of maturity, because probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we might not have been having this debate.
Some members of Congress concerned about these programs say they'll try to change the law to rein them in, and civil liberties groups are now talking about filing lawsuits. Ann?
All right, Pete, thanks.